Hello everyone and welcome to Mark No Horsemanship here on this beautiful Monday. We've got a new student in here today. This is 10. He's a 15 or 16-year-old registered Appaloosa. He's a big Appaloosa. Of course, we all know that he's not one of the originals because he's too tall for that, but he's about 16 hands. And Chase come to me, the owner, reaching out for help to get Chase just a little bit better. He's
10.
10. His name's 10. To get 10 just a little bit better, and on his confidence, he just seems a little bit. He's just not very confident, and so we're going to be working on gaining confidence with him, and just working out some things. You can see he's just busy everywhere. Good horse to me is a good thinking horse that's just standing here. The reason he keeps doing this is he's not just checking me out. I think he's looking for a cookie, but we've talked about that with the owner. So we're gonna try to turn over a new leaf when it comes to treats and things like that. So, but we're gonna get to working him here. I hope my goal in this session is to get him saddled, get him moving around first, and then get him saddled, and then hopefully start working on some desensitization, just getting him quiet and getting him to where he's used to things being all around him. I worked with him at her place a few days ago when I picked him up, and I agreed to bring him on home because I do think that there is some hope for him. Most of the time, what's the problem with horses today is just to be frank with you, they're just not used enough, and it leaves them time to think too much. They just got too much time on their hands, and we're just going to try to get him working around in here and get his mind more on who's holding him instead of what's going on around him. And the only way you're going to do that is through those feet. You got to get those feet moving. You've got to get him thinking about standing still. The easiest way to get a horse to stand still is to move his feet. So we'll just get to working him here and see how this unfolds. I've messed with him just a little since he's been here, enough to know that he's not an outlaw. He's not mean. I just want to give you some things that we're going to start today. Right now, automatically, you can see that his attention is more down there on the other end of the barn because, of course, that's where they want to be. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to start bumping his nose to where he's more for thinking about bending and paying attention to me than he is anything else. And you can see him when he turns his head right there, how he wants to panic just a little bit. So by me tipping that nose to me, and making that hip go away from him, that's him, what I call acknowledging that I exist. As of 30 seconds ago, he was not even acknowledging that I even existed. And I think that horses are made that way by humans. Not necessarily this owner, but I think in the past, somewhere, someone hasn't made this horse to where they think more about the human than they do anything else. And the way to do that is through communication, through moving those feet, and making the wrong thing difficult and the right thing easy. Again, you can tell him he's going to be a humdinger when it comes to leaving the stall or leaving other horses. That's all he's ever known, I would say. He's never been worked outside of that. So that's all he's ever known, is to be a horse. Even though it's funny. It's funny, horses can be worked with humans for years. But if they're not worked with correctly, they're still horses that are doing things for the human. But they're not totally sold over to the human. They're not totally submitted. And there's a lot of horses that are being ridden today that's really not with that person. They're, Tom Durrance, I read his book. It's called Training Horses Through Field. And he actually talks about how sometimes when the lack of knowledge from the human is there or not there, the knowledge of the human is not there, that these horses will fill in that gap. In other words, what he's talking about is by the grace of God, that some of these horses don't hurt somebody. The horse sometimes will fill in for the ignorance of the human. And I think with this case, not with the owner that owns him now, but I think in a lot of cases, I see it all the time that horses are being ridden and they're being worked with, but they're really not with that person. And that's where that horse fills in that gap of communication. And when the horse fills in, you better hope that that horse is a good natured horse, because they could fill in that gap in a negative way. So my goal is to get him more focused on whoever it may be on the end of this road. It don't have to be me, but I'm the one getting paid to do it, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to bump that nose. You can tell when I bump him that he's never been taught to give the pressure. If he had been taught to give the pressure, then he would just flex that neck right around and keep going. And I go through this on an average. I go through this with probably, if I work 30 horses a year, 25 of them I have to go through this with. And it's an aggravating process. But right now what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop that halter down a little bit lower on his nose to where I got a little bit more feel, if you will. So we're going to drop that halter down. And so now when I bump that nose, it'll be down there to where he can, talk to him just a little bit better. So as he's going around through here, I'm just going to bump that nose and keep him going at the same time. Right there. Now that's better. Now he's starting to bend and actually acknowledge that I exist. You might say, well, Mark, what is working horses? When you say you're going to the barn to work horses, what is that? Well, it's this. You know, most people, from what I gather, most people, when they break horses or they work with horses, they're just out there with the horse, man. They're just having a good time riding around the arena, and that's what they call working a horse. Well, I look at it differently. When I work a horse, I'm getting in here. I've got to get in here and get in and change that horse. The only way you're going to change that horse is to get in his mind. You're not going to change that horse through the physical part. All you're going to do is get the physical part in better shape to go longer the next day. So I'm going to get in his mind. So as he's going around through here, I'm presenting myself as not just someone lunging him. I'm presenting myself as the greatest thing ever, and I deserve and I demand his attention. And, you know, some can take it the way they want to, but that's what's wrong with the horse world now. We're a little bit too passive with these horses. We really need to make sure that and that don't mean you got to abuse them. Like I just told you, I'm getting into his mind. I'm not getting into, right there, he's just kind of dilly-daddling. He needs to work or give me something to work on. So we're going to get in here. You can see he's doing better already. He's starting to tip that nose to me. He's starting to quit crawling towards that stall area there, because that's where he wants to be, because that's where he does nothing. So like always, when they give me something positive, I let them have a break. Now all the blowing and the snorting and carrying on, I don't know. I don't let it intimidate me. But some horses just do that. So any bunny huggers out there that's saying I'm scaring him, then I'm not. Just hold your thoughts. Because think a little bit before you send a message. Because you can tell by looking at this horse, he's not scared. He's so used to, how can I put it? He's so used to what humans are doing, because humans is where he gets his cookies from. And if a person, if he didn't get anything from the person, it sounds mean, but if he didn't get anything from the person, he wouldn't pay no attention that there was people walking around. But he's thinking, maybe that one's got my treat. Or maybe that one's going to give me something to eat. It may not always be a treat, but sometimes horses, that's all they think about when it comes to humans, is that that's their access to food. So in the 30 years that I've been doing this, that's been my goal, is to teach people that they need to quit that relationship that they want. It's a whole lot better off obtained through work, not through treats and rubbing. Now, every now and then, I do tell a horse that they've done a good job, and I'll go in here and I'll rub them. I love the way a horse feels. I love the way their hair feels. I love to brush one. I love to spend time with one that way. But to sit and constantly rub on one, they're not learning anything but how to think less of you. The only way that they're going to think more of you is if you become the leader and you what? You make those feet move in the direction that you want them to. Forwards, backwards, left, and right. And once that starts happening, then they begin to think, oh, I think this person is my leader. I think this person is dominant. But so many people are trying to gather the storybook relationship that they want with a horse. They're trying to get that through treats, rubbing, in flicka movies and Black Beauty movies and spirit cartoons. You can't. Hey, we got to face reality here. You're not going to get it that way. And then I see other YouTube videos that I've been watching lately that makes me want to puke. And I won't mention the names, that they're treating the horses horrible. Like, you know, not even doing any kind of groundwork with a 2-year-old before they ride it and hobbling it out along the side of a highway to where if the horse got loose, it could get run over or kill a family in the car. So I'm seeing that side of it too. So it's just silly. It's either all one way or all the other way. Very seldom is they're in the middle. And when you find that person, and I'd like to think that I'm one of those people, then you better stick with them and you better pay them good. Because they're actually doing something to that horse instead of just ruining it or feeding it treats. So the relationship that you're wanting, that you're seeking, it's found right here in what I'm doing, and that's leadership. This horse has already, in the last 10 minutes, has changed significantly. He's already softer on that rope. He's focusing more on me and not really worried about anything else. So I think now would be a good time to saddle him. I don't know how he's going to act. I did put a pad on him down at the lady's place that owns him, and I put me a girth on that pad and tightened it up, and he didn't do anything. But sometimes your saddles are different. Now, I'm not going to put a back cinch on him today because I don't know if he's ever had one, and I'm not trying to pick trouble out of the pot. You know, if there's no need for him to be worked in a back cinch, I won't. Now, after I talk to the owner and she says, yeah, I'd like him to be used to one or see what he's going to do, because I'm going to ride in one, she might tell me, then I'll see how he's like. But today, I'm not too much worried about a back girth. And I might put it on him too. I just don't know. So we'll just see when I get over here. So I've never saddled the horse. I've got to change out my girth. I meant to do that before now, but it'll be all right. I can change it out right here and talk to you all too. So I've never even flipped the saddle up on his back, so I don't have any idea how he's going to do. I think he's been saddled. I mean, there was a girl that came and rode this horse for the lady not too long ago, and I'm sure she rode with the saddle. So, no, she rode with a bareback pad, didn't she, Birdie?
I think that's how it went.
So I don't know if, I don't really know how this is going to go. Who knows if he's ever had a saddle? I have no idea. I think he has, but we'll see. He's a big old horse to be wondering if he's ever had a saddle, I'll tell you that. But I think just to save a little bit of trouble, I don't know if I put the back girth on him, it's just going to be very loose today until I see how he does. So we'll just chip away at this, but he's got to be saddled. I got to see what he's like, and then we're going to do a little, well, I ain't going to get too far ahead of myself. Let's just see how the saddling goes first. So as I'm getting everything rigged up, I just want to thank everybody for watching my videos, our videos. They're me and my wife's. It's me and my wife's business here, and we really appreciate all the support that we get. Last time I looked, I had almost 9,000 followers on Facebook, and I'm not doing so hot on YouTube, but that's okay. It'll get there maybe one day. But I really appreciate all the followers that I have on Facebook, and just want to thank everybody for that. for being dedicated. There's some people that's been watching my videos for quite a long time now, and I really appreciate it. I really do. So let's just see how this is going to unfold here. He's a big old boy. It's going to take me a minute here to get everything adjusted, but we will get it. I generally don't like to saddle one right here where I'm at, so I think I'm going to, one that I don't know, so I'm going to hold on to my saddle, and I'm going to turn him right here, and just walk him right out here in the middle. Plus that kind of lets me see how he does with that saddle. Now, that makes me feel a little better. I don't like being in them corners with a horse I don't know. He did act like when I put that bareback pad on him, yeah, that he wanted to bite a little bit. You heard that, didn't you? I think we're going to be in for some fun here. I do believe. It's a shame that horses get like this, because this old horse ain't no different than any other horse. He could have been better at his age. He shouldn't be. He's 15 or 16. He shouldn't be snorting around with this saddle like he is. And we're just going to go at him slow right here. He's already. See there? That wasn't even cinched up. So, it's a shame that horses are like this. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be like this. So, and he ain't done yet. He's standing here. He's just standing here waiting. It makes it awful hard to get in here and get these things cinched up when they're like this. So right there, we'll let that go. Hopefully it'll stay. It's on there now. I don't think I'll worry about the back cinch today. But I gotta take it off at least. So let me take that off. There ain't no use in picking a fight with him on that today. And we'll just get this done here the best we can. So, gotta be careful. Let this car go by. I'd like to get that in one more hole. He's all blowed out. He's got his belly sitting right against that girth, so I don't know. We'll just see how this goes right here. That may be all he's got, I don't know. But he wants to get on you, and I don't like that. A lot of it's just a big old whiny butt sometimes, and they just need to go on. And I think that's what it is with him. He just ain't never been pushed past that. And he's just complaining. So what I think I'm going to do, now that I see he ain't got a whole lot of hump in him, I think I'm going to uncinch him here, move that saddle forward like it needs to be, put that back girth on. Because he's just being a big old brat. He needs to be worked through this, and he'll get it worked through it here. And they're working on some kind of line today, and they're about to aggravate me to death on this road. I ain't never in my life seen so much traffic. I don't like it. It makes me nervous, especially when I'm working with a horse. Not that I'm worried about it scaring the horse, it makes me nervous. I don't like a lot of commotion going on. So we're going to put this back girth on there. And these back girths, let me tell you, sometimes, oh Lord. Sorry y'all, not a very good day for a video, but we're in it now, we're going to keep going. Sometimes these back girths can help these whiny butts get over stuff. Because you know what? If you want something to buck about, I'll give you something to buck about. Kind of deal. Kind of like putting a flank rope on. You know, I can tell by the way he's acting right there. Sure, he may not have been started right, but he's just being a whiny butt. And that's my word for the day, is whiny butt. Hope you don't like it. But we're going to get this situated here and send him back out in the circle. Horses like this can be dangerous though, because they're unpredictable. Like this now, he just kind of blowed out of there and went to bucking on me, you know. And what if somebody didn't know no better and they got on him? And person can really get hurt. Like right there, he don't need to look around. It ain't none of his business what's going on right here. So I just jacked that jaw for him. Now right here, he's going to go through it again. You know, that's one thing that I've discovered over the years. The only way you can get a horse over being saddled is to saddle it. There is no before procedure, or you know what I'm saying. There ain't nothing other than saddling that you can do. And so that's just what I do. I just go ahead and start saddling them and pray to God that it don't come off and get under their belly or something like that. But got 2 or 3 things going on here. You know, it's a shame at his age that you got to go through all this just to get him saddled. Why, this old horse, you should be able just to saddle him right up and walk off. But because of human error, you're not able to do that. But I don't think that he's got a whole lot in him. Again, he's just a big old whiny butt. And with that back girth on there, he's liable to tell me whiny butt, but he wants to get on you too, and I don't like that. He needs to go away from me. Now we're just going to let him think about that. Let him calm down and make this a good thing here. Now that kind of licking his lips is not from relaxation, that's from fear. So you need to get good at realizing when they're relaxing. If you was where I'm standing, he's licking his lips, but his muzzle is tight. So that's from fear. You might say, well, poor thing. You know, if he's scared, then why are you saddling him? How's it going to get fixed if you don't saddle him? How's it going to get fixed? You ain't going to talk him into it. You can't have a powwow with a horse and, you know, gather a couple chairs up and say, sit down there, let me talk to you. I want to tell you now, this saddle, it's really not a big deal. Don't be so scared of it. You know, it's just an old dead cow that's strapped to your back. It won't hurt you, promise you. You can't have that kind of talk with a horse. So you just got to put it on. But if you notice, I'm still working on this much needed softness right here. I can tell you by leading this horse that he's heavy. Just to lead him around, he's heavy. He really needs to have a makeover. And it can be done. It's going to take a little time. I'm just going to fair warn the owner. She might want to pull the plug and say she's not going to put that much time and money in him. I think he's good for, I think we ought to at least go a month on him and see where we're at. And it may be all right. You just got to think positive. Now right here, I'm going to put a little pressure on him. See how he quits thinking? We'll put a little pressure on him. Tell him he needs to quit being a whiny butt. And think about this. Grow up. Get out there and be a big boy. Quit being a whiny butt. Put your big boy pants on and go. Quit worrying about everything. Push him out of this little seclusion that he's in. Push him out of this seclusion that he's in. He's secluded. he draws up in a corner and gets scared and pouts. Well, he's got to come out of that. Now let me tell you, everything, before I get the comments, everything is not pain related. Everything don't need a physical, a chiropractor. Everything don't need a drug. Everything don't need a supplement to help his mind relax before you're working. What they need is drawn out of their comfort zone and make do in a humane, horsemanship way, not in a bad way. But draw them out of that little corner that they sit in, scared like they are, and draw them out into the real world and say, hey, you got to learn to come out here and get along. So, but not everything is pain related. Not everything needs a chiropractor. I'm having a chiropractor come in, I think this weekend for one of my horses. So I'm not saying don't use them. I'm saying every time there's a problem with a horse does not mean that you need a chiropractor or a horse shrink. And there are horse shrinks, believe it or not, that tell you that your horse has got some sort of, problem from its childhood. And maybe they do, but the only way to fix them is through that mind and through them feet.
While he's resting and you're resting, I just want to point out, if people need to rewind, that's fine, but rewind to where you saddled the horse and the horse obviously got upset. You didn't, whoa, easy boy. You didn't try to calm him down. So many people don't want that to come out, and you have to push them through that. So many people try to keep them calm and whoa boy, easy boy, it's okay. And you're not ever going to get anywhere like that.
No, Burgundy's right. You got to push them through it. I used to work for a trainer that would saddle the horses for the first time in a stall. And when they'd start trying to buck, they can't do a lot of bucking in the stall, but when they would try to buck in the stall, he'd stand there with a water hose and squirt them. Get them in trouble for bucking. I want to, like Burgundy just said, I want to push them through that. I want to get that out of them. So when he started that whining stuff a while ago, like this is uncomfortable for me, I don't like this saddle. I didn't draw back and say, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I did not mean to offend you, or I did not mean to whatever. No, I pushed him through it and sent him on his way. So that's a good point that Burgundy brought out. Now, listen, there's no doubt in my mind that he's like this for a reason. And it's human error, I guarantee you. But I can't wander around in that all day. The lady's done paid me. He's here. I've got to make a difference. I can't waller around in why he's like this. From this day forward of him coming to this barn, which was a couple of days ago, from that day forward, I can't waller around in his past. I've got to go on with it. I got to fix it. Okay, maybe something bad did happen with the saddle episode. Maybe somebody cinched him up too hard, too fast when he was little, and he flipped over and hit his noggin on the head. I don't know. That could make him a little apprehensive about being saddled. Sure, I feel for him, and I hate that happened, if that's the case. I'm just using that as an example. But I can't stay right there. I've got to go on. So it don't really matter their past when they come to me. I've got to fix it. It would help if I knew, sure. But I don't know much about him other than what the owner was able to tell me. And so I just got to figure it out. It's like, it's a monopoly, that's for sure.
Well, really, it doesn't change the way you approach fixing it.
Even if I knew, Burgundy's right, even if I knew that he was like this because of this or that, it don't change my approach any at all. So we're going to not worry about desensitizing and things like that today. We're going to push him through this saddle episode right here. And still yet, I'm going to try to get him in a lope here in a minute. He really needs to move them feet. And I'm going to have to get my bigger, longer whip over here to do that so I can keep the momentum going. Pretty good right there. I figured putting that pressure on him right there, he might want to buck around a little bit, but he didn't. Now there's a lot of people that would be saying, oh, just get up there and ride him, cowboy. Well, I'm not a cowboy, I'm a horseman. And two, that's why he's like he is now, because nobody has stopped and fixed it. I'm the type of man, I'm not just gonna keep, if I got a flat on my tractor or on my truck and it's a slow leak, I'm not gonna keep putting air in it over and over. I'm gonna fix it. You see? So just getting up there and riding him is not fixing it. That's just putting air in it to get you through that session, so to speak. We're gonna fix that flat tire. We're gonna either put a plug in it or put a new tire on it, whichever one calls for it. I'm gonna fix this horse. I think he's got pretty good potential to be a good horse. He just gets all wadded up like right there, and he forgets how to think. So we're gonna make a thinking horse out of him. But the only reason I got this, don't worry, I'm not gonna whip him. It's a long extension, and I want to lope him. I want to get him into a lope here. It really settles these horses. So we're gonna come in here behind him and get this horse loping around in here. If I have to whack him 5 times, I have to whack him 5 times. Right there. He really needs to move that feet. That's his biggest problem, I believe. I believe he's been held in a box so long that he just needs to move them feet, just like that. And he's still got that head away from him. He's going to have to learn to keep that nose stiff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold him and drive him, just like that. But you see, here's the pivot point. He's not going to have a lot of it done today. That's where people go wrong. They get a horse working good in that session, and it's kind of like combing their tail. Kind of like combing their tail. Once you get that tail combed, it's combed. Okay? You can quit combing it. You got all the kinks out, quit combing it. It's good. So a lot of people, they'll get the kinks worked out in this horse. And you see all that stomping behind? All that is he's uncomfortable with pressure. He can't stand like stuff touching him and that girth touching him. And he's just all picky. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fix this over the next day or two. He's gonna get over his touchiness, pickiness. So get him cantering out this way. Just need to move them feet. Move them feet. He's a whiny butt. Look at him. He don't even know how to lope. I doubt the horse has ever loped in his life other than out in the pasture. That's different then. Now, that's a little better. See now? When he gives me a good time or two, I stop and let him rest. All I'm trying to tell people by these videos is quit getting your cue cards out. And there are people with note cards that offer to the public to stick in your pocket and to know what to do if your horse is doing this or that. If you need a card to tell you what to do when you're working with your horse, then I don't know if you need a horse. And I'm trying to be as nice as I can. But we need to get back to getting these horses better by using them for something. Give them a job to do. It's you know, but get them right first. Get them right inside in a confined area and get their minds right, and then give them a job to do. But no, all people want to do is do all this fancy groundwork, and I love it. Y'all see my videos. I do groundwork every day. But we just want to do that, and that's it. To do groundwork is you're on a mission to be able to use that horse for something. So after you get past the groundwork, then put that horse to work.
I just want to say groundwork is not tricks. So many people use it as if, watch him as I point to my left and people use it in a, like they've taught their horse a trick, like teaching a dog to sit. Groundwork is not meant to be tricks. It's meant to use the horse's mind to prepare it for something.
Yeah, it's almost like the church world. I just want to ask, where are we at? Where are we at? Churches are just awful these days, and if you got a good one you go to, then that's good. I'm glad. We've got a couple good ones that we go to that are good churches. So I'm not saying it's like it everywhere, but the church world and the horse world to me is gone to pot. And that's a shame. Now the church world is way more important than the horse world. But where are we at? Where are we at? Like Burgundy said, we're riding horses around in cars. I tip my hat to all them tricks and stuff that people can get horses to do, but I have no use for a horse to ride in a car. Sorry. I want to be on his back. And I want to be on his back and feel comfortable that I'm safe. So let's get back to working these horses and making them good animals. So now we're going to get in both directions again. Just get him loosened up here. Now listen, I know a lot of you ain't going to like me doing all that smacking, but he's going to have to move his feet. This horse don't even know how to load. So we're going to teach right here. We're going to send him the other way. Just get him loosened up. He's like being around somebody that you just want to grab him and say, hey, loosen up a little bit. Quit being so uptight. Relax. Better. Get him moving his feet this way. Step out here in front of this guy. Get him moving them feet. Step out here in front of this eye. Moving them feet. Now we're really going to have to build on this. We can sit in here. He's not in physical shape to do it. And he's definitely not in the mental shape to do it. But you wouldn't believe, there wasn't a whole lot of stress for him right there. There was a whole lot of pressure. But you wouldn't believe of what we've got accomplished so far. And you have to build on it. You can't do too much at one time. Now this right here is going to have to leave him. He's going to have to learn how to relax. And that things is not always after him. It's like right there. Now he just needs to come over here and quit getting so worried about stuff. Like that. So we're going to quit right there on him today. Wait a minute. I like to quit when their head's down, nice and relaxed. So we'll quit right there on him today. He's a little better than when we started. And I hope all that made sense. And we're just going to keep working with 10 here and hopefully get him a little bit better. So thank y'all for watching and God bless you.